end of the year, and I would hate to move on without being able to take a minute to look at all of the amazing places I traveled this year and all of the new things I got to see. Today, we're gonna look at the best of 2020. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, it's time. I can't tell you how thankful I am for everyone who's subscribed and how encouraging it is to see that number grow. It just reminds me that you all want to come along on this journey and that you can't wait to see where we go next. But today, I have picked 10 categories of the best. Everything from the best views, the best food, and the biggest surprises. According to YouTube, I have uploaded 50 videos. You have all watched 13,500 times and over 52,000 minutes. So to kick it off, we're gonna start with the most popular video, which was the hike to Emerald Lakes. I still watch and enjoy this video. I can see why it has over 3,500 views. When I was researching, I saw that this was the most popular hike in Rocky Mountain National Park, but everyone said, don't let that deter you from going. We couldn't enter Rocky Mountain National Park until 2 o'clock in the summer of COVID. That's when our pass allowed us to get in. So I wanted to make sure we had an amazing hike with a great view, and Emerald Lake can deliver those two things on any day of the week.
With you and I, the future is bright.
Sometimes when you travel, you have these unexpected moments. When we arrived at Emerald Lake, someone was pumping up a stand-up paddleboard, and we were able to see them circle the lake and then jump out into some yoga moves.
What we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
All in all, it was pretty amazing. We made sure that we got back to the car so that we could see sunset. It just was a really nice day. It makes me so happy to see that you've enjoyed watching the video just as much as we enjoyed doing it. That takes us to our second category, biggest surprise. And that award goes to Great Sand Dunes National Park. When I was researching Great Sand Dunes National Park, I didn't know what to expect other than an amazing view of the sand dunes in front of the Rocky Mountains. I had no desire to climb to the highest sand dunes, but I knew I wanted to do something. And one of the options is renting a sandboard or a sand sled. Now, I have never snowboarded in my life. I've been attempting to learn how to ride a skateboard. Things aren't going well, but I knew I didn't want a sand sled and have my face that close to the sand all day. Somehow, I convinced myself to go sandboarding. But it turned into the perfect day. It was one of those things where I just convinced myself, rent the sandboard and go try it. And that's exactly what I did. I got everything I thought I would need, hiked out to the sand dunes, and spent the afternoon trying to figure it out. And after falling and falling and falling, my tailbone hurt for months after this trip, but it was worth it. You can see in the video that I just had this refreshing moment where I hadn't tried anything new in a while. And to figure it out and make it work and enjoy it was just this rush of excitement. I feel like that was the first time in quite a while that I've really tried something new. Oh, it's so much fun. That was so cool. The hard part is after that moment, I wanted to find that everywhere. I'll continue looking till I do. On to category 3, which is one of my favorites, favorite food. The official answer is the pizza we had at Emmy Squared in Nashville. And when we were walking around Nashville, everywhere was packed for brunch. And then Courtney noticed this pizza place, and I had this moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I have wanted to eat here since I knew it existed in New York City, and we can't go to New York City this year, and I've always wanted to eat at this restaurant, so we obviously had to go. I picked their margarita pizza, Courtney picked mushroom. It was such a good combination. The margarita is really fresh and you can taste the basil and tomatoes, whereas the mushroom is really rich, and they worked so well together. And we had the leftovers for dinner. This was also a hard decision for the category because the caramel apples I just had in Hot Springs were so good. If I was able to make them a main dish, they would win the category. Category 4 is here for the laughs, the best outtakes. I can't always take myself seriously because sometimes things happen that are just a little too ridiculous to overlook. So I knew when I started YouTube that I needed to add outtakes. Now I thought about this, and I have to say honorable mention goes to the candy video that Courtney and I just shot because we looked so much like Molly Shannon and Anna Gasteyer from SNL.
I feel like I'm on The Delicious Dish.
Oh, on NPR. Seasons, eatings. We just needed Alec Baldwin or Betty White to show up and it would have been perfect. But I have to say, after looking through all of my videos, my favorite outtakes are from Badlands National Park. I was trying to find a nice way to ask people to subscribe, and suddenly I turned into like the Queen of England. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do so, or do so. It's so formal. On top of that, we were on the Notch Trail, and the point of the Notch Trail is that they have this ladder that you climb, and I absolutely hate ladders. And this was like extension ladder designed by Survivor. In the video, I sped it up because I could do that. But in the outtakes, I had to be a little more honest. I am a glacier climbing down this ladder. I didn't let it stop me. I made it down, and that's the important part. And I'm really happy that we're able to have these moments that we can laugh about together. Category 5 is favorite destination. There's a lot of great destinations, but I have to give this one to Colorado. I spent about a month in Colorado, and you can tell that I enjoyed it based on the number of times it has made this list. Colorado is an easy state to fall in love with. It is gorgeous. There's so much to do and so much to see. I'm happy that I got to spend so much time there over the summer. Category 6 is the greatest moment. And I immediately think of the tunnel Courtney and I walked through at Clifty Falls. I had done the bare minimum research about this tunnel, and I knew we could walk through it. I knew other people had already walked through it, and I just expected it to be an empty tunnel with plenty of space to walk through and explore. I think we're just gonna go in there. We're going in there. Whoa. I thought it would be funny to point out to Courtney that that's where we're headed. But I think once we got in there, the joke was on me. I couldn't believe how short the tunnel was. I didn't expect it to have water. Certainly didn't expect it to have animals. Oh, there's a frog. There's frogs everywhere. I thought maybe it would have bats because it's closed during the winter for hibernation, and for some reason I just never expected that we would see spiders in a cave. Keep your eyes down. I think that that's pretty logical now, but we made it out, and that made for a very fun day. Category 7 is the best views. Now, I wore my Smokies shirt today. I know that they didn't outright take any of the categories, but they certainly get honorable mention in this one. The Smoky Mountains was my first big trip of the year. I had never been there and I couldn't wait to see the national park, and the views are certainly what made the trip so amazing. But we outdid it the next month when we went to Colorado and attempted to climb Mount Beardstat. In Colorado, mountains over 14,000 feet are called 14ers, and the hikers make it a sport within themselves to climb as many 14ers as you can. I picked the Mount Beardstat hike because it was one of the easiest 14ers in the area where we'd be staying. We experienced so much weather during the hike. We had sun when we started and sun when we finished, but in between we had thunder and sleet, which ultimately ended our hike. From the hike to Mount Beardstat, you can see Sawtooth Ridge, which actually connects Mount Beardstat and Mount Evans. Plus, you have Gray's and Torrey's Peak in the distance. Honestly, it was just amazing to be surrounded by the beauty of the Rocky Mountains. Can't wait to go back and experience it all again. That takes us to Category 8, which is the craziest idea. And I think the craziest idea of the year goes to the golden ticket. I told Courtney that on Saturday at noon we're gonna get a riddle and it could be anywhere in the state, and she said okay, and she went along with it, and I think that that's amazing. We just left the house. We packed everything we could. We took notes yesterday on all the other clues and we're excited. I was determined that we would figure out that riddle and that we'd be the first ones there. We weren't.
Kansas. Justin the Wind is Kansas. Topeka, Kansas.
We had such a fun time and it got us out of the house for a weekend. It was a great idea and I'm so happy we did it. Getting down to the final two big ones, Category 9 is biggest adventure. And I have to say that my biggest adventure this year was hiking on the Colorado Trail. Multiple overnight backpacking trips, went in the Smokies this year. It's hard to explain the feeling of getting out of the car, putting your pack on, and hiking into the wilderness. Getting ready to start out at Indian Creek Trailhead. For me, on the Colorado Trail, that was heightened by 1,000 because I was planning to go for weeks. I didn't make it nearly as far as I wanted to on the Colorado Trail, but I have to say I learned so much. Being able to practice those first steps and asking for help when you need it. Today is brutal. Camp is just around the corner, but I'll see you there. It was without a doubt the biggest learning experience of my whole year. That takes us to Category 10, the best trip of the year, Badlands National Park in South Dakota. on this trip, we were able to see Mount Rushmore, hike up to Crazy Horse, enjoy Rapid City, South Dakota. All of those things were amazing and would have made the trip worthwhile, but the very best thing we did was hike to Deer Haven. At Badlands National Park, there's no specific trails, so we're gonna walk through this prairie land with our trekking poles because there are rattlesnakes here, and then we kind of hook a right This is another video that I could watch over and over. We just finished dinner and that's what the sky looks like. Plus, the moon is coming up over our tent. I'd say this is working out pretty great. We woke up to the most amazing sunrise. We made breakfast, packed up camp, and headed out. And I can't imagine a better backpacking trip for Courtney to start with. If there's one video that you should go back and watch, I think it's that one. I think it really captures the beauty of Badlands National Park. Thank you for coming along with me. I hope you have a wonderful new year, and I'll catch you on the next adventure. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. It'll help me bring you along on my next adventure.